G'day guys, we're back. I just as it up there. You thought I had the wrong episode. Episode 18, both sides of the line. We are back, and welcome back. So
we're back in any sort of form and fashion right now, aren't we?
You should see your face when I said that.
I didn't realise we were live either, so they probably caught that. I'm good, mate. I've dropped the red top.
Yeah, so I've
taken a bit of fashion advice. I've copped a bit of stick from the big dog on these podcasts. So
you've had the haircut, you've had the wardrobe change. What's that?
Probably a lobotomy. I
don't know. Well, I'm sure.
But no, thank you. I'm repping the grey hoodie here, the TS brand here.
Yeah, we might consider you being on the model catalogue. We'll see how we go.
Jeez, I think we're better off getting DJ back into that. Yeah, I think he'll do it better justice than I would.
Which was good on DJ last week.
It was great chat. We've had great feedback as well. I think DJ had a great time coming in here and chewing the fat with us, and I think it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure we'll have him on again, see how he's going during the season, and towards the end of it, hopefully he's got a championship ring. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. But like we said last week, whatever happens to him going forward, getting to play, being back at it, playing NBL, being a contracted professional player, all the things he's working hard for, tick, 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 tick. So all the ticks there anyway. Yeah. Anything else right now, first will be a bonus, but he's got a lot of potential things. You know, is there a championship available? Potentially, yes. Rookie of the year? Potentially, yes. Other opportunities? Most likely, yes. So
it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, he's a great athlete. He's an unbelievable athlete, an unbelievable talent. And you'd know, working with him closely over these many years, how much physical and mental work he's put into just getting himself into this position, because he hasn't even played an NBL game yet, really. So, I mean, his journey is still he's only given himself the opportunity right now, hasn't he? I mean, he's played at college level, and that's unbelievable in experience in itself, but he's now embarking on that next level, isn't he, of his professional athlete.
Yeah, well, contracts change everything. You know, you play for your college. I know you probably got a what's the word when they pay your fees? Scholarship.
Scholarship, yeah.
But when you got a contract, you're some more pressure, more expectation. It's a job now.
Yeah.
You know, they've hired you for a certain role.
Yeah.
You got to fulfill that certain role.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he handles that, which will be, I'm knowing TJ, he'll handle it and take it on, take the challenge. But for any athlete who goes into a professional gig, it's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah, that's it too, isn't it? Yeah, it's that old saying, you work so hard to get to the top, but that's when the actual hard work actually starts, is when you're there to stay up there, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because, you know, if people go, fork out money and, we want memberships, we want people to support, blah, 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 you got to tick more than just the play box.
Yeah.
You know, what sort of person are you? What sort of player are you? Are you a team player? Are you an individual player? Are you part of the club, not part of the club?
Yeah.
That's a package deal now, mate. So, that's why the members come in, because, you know, of the people that they look up to and want to follow.
Yeah, exactly right. So he's a great guy to be following.
Well, I'm following him already, so it's good.
We are. So what's been happening this past week, Dazza? Usually you ask me first, but I'm going to ask you first today.
Yeah, no, we're back into it. Obviously, it's going to be a tough week or two now that everything's starting back with the business and TS, but TS is doing really well. We've got a lot of support, a lot of kids come back. They're training well. Let me tell you that right now. I've got some great support with the coaches. They're doing well too.
Yep.
So great feedback on both fronts.
Yep.
But yeah, next couple of weeks is going to be interesting, because there's going to be some changes where, people are committing to other things now. Things are coming back. So they've got more things to commit to.
Yep.
We just got to work out with anything we do. Are we going to be the first cab off the rank? Are we going to maintain part of their schedule?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, signs are good.
Signs are good.
It's nearly Christmas.
It is. It's coming around really quickly.
Mate, I just can't believe that, 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks with Christmas.
3.5. Yeah, where are we now? Yeah.
No, I can't fathom that. The year's just come and gone, and the emotional high and lows we've all gone through, you just feel like it's only been 6 months. And what we've all had to go through in that 6 to 7 months.
Yep.
And I'm talking a lot of people now that they've bottomed out, they're tired.
Yeah.
They're run down. I know me personally, I think I've traumatized my condition in the body, so I'm hurting and I'm suffering. So I won't be on court tonight. I'm going home to bed. But I know a lot of other people going through the same. We're just going from 0 to 100. We're not Ferraris, mate. We're all beat up cars just trying to get through, and this high roller coaster emotion. Wow, it just takes its toll, mate.
Yeah, and it's been mentally challenging, hasn't it? Above all else, probably not as much the physical thing for a lot of people, because you've been cooped up at home, or stuck in a certain pattern or whatnot, and not as active as probably what you would have been previously. But yeah, the mental aspect, I think everyone is mentally worn and just needs probably just a change of environment, change of scenery around you for whether it be a week or two or a couple of days or whatever you can sort of do with your family and whatnot. Definitely make that if you can make that time.
Well, that's going to be interesting too. Like me, even us for a business, and even the small business that want us to be open in January. Are people going to go away? Are people going to stay committed because they've had so much downtime? They want to keep active.
Yeah.
Are people going to say, well, we didn't really get to enjoy COVID because we didn't have it and the right reasons? We might go and enjoy it now as a family and be able to enjoy the moment together by doing things. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But hey, I want people to make the most of what they're doing with their families and whatever's right for them. Do it. Jump on it and make sure you do it.
Yeah.
Because it's been a reality check, that's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So for you personally, you're coaching VJBL. That's back. What's that feel like?
VJBL is back.
Oh, try it. Sorry.
Try it. Well, we're in tryout phase. We literally just launched that Sunday. Just went.
How'd that go?
Yeah, really good. So Melbourne Tigers, we had really good strong weekend tryouts at start of Sunday. For me personally, so I'll be doing under 16 boys ones. I was actually, and similar to you, so I know you spoke about it and I hadn't really seen it yet. The athletes are not in terribly bad nick. I think they had the high energy, just the enthusiasm, the adrenaline of being back. That definitely came across. I think obviously as we trek along the journey now.
Yep.
Obviously there's lots of opportunity to refine and get better on fundamentals and basics and build up from there, of course. But yeah, I was impressed. I was probably expecting not the level of energy that came through the door on the weekend. Both what I saw at the 16s level and the 18s were also helped out on the weekend.
Now you say that, and we might be getting it too, because it might even be where if numbers drop off, it could be another reason. It's like us when we come back into work or back into some sort of normality. We're going 100 miles an hour. What if these kids crash in 3 weeks?
Yeah, well, that
could be a delay in that. So
yeah,
what we expect to see week 1, maybe we should all be cautious that we might see it in week 2, 3, or 4.
That's right. Yeah, I agree.
That's probably what's going to happen. I think anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, it's such an unknown what the past 6 to 7, 8 months have had on kids, young athletes, irrespective of age, I think.
So would you say it's a good thing I think we're all waiting on VJBL. I don't think decisions have been made officially.
No official decision, but the word on the street.
Mid-January?
If you believe the word on the street, but it seems to be a pretty strong word, is mid-January start back, which is very different to any other year because people are still away. Or
is a tournament still going to happen, the Eltham tournament?
I believe that's in the plan that it will happen.
Right.
Whether it's part of a tournament setting, just a standalone tournament per se, or whether it's worked in where there's games based around that, which will help determine grading, I don't know. You've heard many different things, so there's probably a bit of a concern probably in coming back early and then jumping into a tournament this time around, because you don't have the condition of the last 12 months that you sort of come through with into January. Does that make sense? So you come in, we hit it, 3 or 4 weeks of tryouts, stop, come back mid-January again. Like it's been a large stop, quick start, quick stop, and then into a tournament or whatever it might be grading.
I'm concerned
it's very concerning, I think, for the athletes' health perspective.
Well, it's 2 parts.
Don't want them to break down.
No, absolutely. I think the 2 parts that are probably going to be negative is the short stop, which is coming up now. So we're starting to get a little bit of momentum, nowhere near full momentum, a little bit of momentum.
No. Yeah.
But we're going to go backwards to go forwards again and expect to be at full capacity, doing what we need to be doing and be at that expectation.
Yeah.
But then I look at the personal side of things. I don't think many people really got to, that we appreciate being COVID. We got locked down, shut down, but maybe people still need to get away and escape.
That's right. Yeah.
So the problem's going to be something's going to be missed.
Yes.
It's either going to be the personal family time.
Yep.
Or the basketball side of things. And other sports, we're just talking about basketball.
Yep.
So I think, unfortunately, the balance is no win-win situation, this one.
No, I don't think so. No. It's going to be an incredibly fine line. We probably won't know it until we're there or in the middle of it. It can go one way or the other.
So maybe we use that idea we spoke about last week. No, this will be a problem.
Sorry?
Yeah, the scenario we spoke about last week about starting in February and continue where we left off and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But none of this will be a problem.
It wouldn't be. No, just wait 2 more weeks.
Go away. You can manage your team, manage your bodies, manage your players, ease back into it, still be ready for February. But I still don't understand why we're going down this panic or this so
hectic start,
Hectic
hectic
start.
restart.
which means when it starts, it doesn't finish. So it's going to be hectic until the end of September.
Yep.
So not only have we not really overcome what COVID did, we've gone at 100 mile an hour and we'll continue that rate to the end of the season. And what do you think is going to happen halfway through that season or toward the end of that season?
At all time,
So
I think.
I think maybe they could have been looked a little bit better on how to manage getting back to basketball. And I don't care about the
Yeah.
other states, age groups. I just don't care. I think you got to look after your own.
Yeah,
You can still do your state teams and age groups, all that stuff by players' ages. But I think
I agree. Are they planning on playing through school holidays? I don't know what the word on the street is. I mean, that's another thing you can
That's
do.
crazy.
Like, just eliminate.
it's crazy. Yeah, but,
You play through a school holiday period, or
but even that,
and start later.
yeah, but even that, right? We're taking away true time that should be family time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
You know, once you commit to the front, like say you got a beach house, say you got a caravan, it's all gone.
yeah. You're not going to get there, are you?
All the things that, you know, and then you should be able to still manage the things we can manage. This could have been done faster and easier. If we had started in February, we would have the same season, no panic button. I don't understand why it wasn't so simple to decide. Anyway,
Yeah.
there must be powers to be that think
That's
there's
it's an
reasons why.
opinion. Not to
Just
say we're
opinion.
right, but it just feels like we're trying to rush in to have the normal format setting, but in a shorter period.
All right, let's go straight to something else then, because it's just something I've been thinking about. And I've always been worried about whether this will or won't happen. Tryouts.
Yeah,
So
you can probably pick my brain on this.
is tryouts a lot more harder because you got to fast track quicker? You have less time to focus on the players that need to be focused on. I'm going to throw a lot of questions here right now. Are we going to expect the same player that was a year or 2 years ago, where they were a year or 2 years ago, to be the same player? Or is it totally a fresh start for all players involved?
Oh,
Because we don't have the same capacity, the same volume of court, the same numbers. So, for example, if I had, I know these kids, and he was a gun, a year ago or 2 years ago. Does that mean that kid should be treated the same way as what they were, or is it who they are?
oh, Dazza, you've opened a can of worms with those questions. You can go any way you want with it. I don't know if there's a right answer with any of it, but I'll give my opinion here. 2 years ago, is it fair to assess someone as to where they were 2 years ago? My personal opinion is maybe.
It's good to know they've got the attributes. And
The attributes
qualities.
will probably maybe still be there. You can only assess on what they bring to the court, because one thing that I get worried about is, as a coach, and this is why I was probably a bit anxious going into this tryout period, and we've spoken about this off here, is how do I, as a coach, look at someone who I know 2 years ago was a real standout, as opposed to someone who probably wasn't a standout 2 years ago, but has grown, has used the time off a little bit better than the person that was standing out 2 years ago. And that person is possibly, just on face value in this 3-week window right now of tryouts, is presenting better than that player.
Oh,
So how do I, as a coach, hand on heart, go, I'm making the right decision here of taking player B over player A, or player A over player B? Like that's the conundrum that us coaches are facing right now when selecting our teams and trying to evaluate talent. Now, I come back to, for me, and rightly or wrongly, people can judge me on this, it's called a tryout for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can only go by what you see on that day or in this period, because I should say this period, because week one may not be as strong as week two, because, the athlete comes in a little bit intimidated, a bit anxious, doesn't perform well. The next week they've settled down a bit, they've started to improve. The third week they've really, gotten comfortable with it. Those sorts of things. There's so many things to contend with.
Well, some kids just don't train well.
And that's right.
Sorry, no.
Oh, well,
They don't train well in tryouts, but they're probably great trainers and great team players. But they just don't try it well.
Yep.
It's so you got to try to remember who the person was that you knew 2 years ago. But maturity changed, how they think, who they are, what they've been doing, as you said.
And athletic ability changes too.
But some peak early.
Yeah.
I've seen kids that are primed at 10. Oh, that's going to be by the time they're 12, they're back at the pack.
Yeah.
And like you said, the underdog always works harder.
Mm.
So if you see the ones who progress very well, look at DJ, for example.
Yeah.
The ones who say, I need to work hard, end up working hard.
Yeah.
So
So
the ones who don't think they need to. So
DJ is sorry, can we use DJ sort of as an example?
just
So
for example,
DJ was a 4s, 5s.
16-4 cut.
All right. 16-4 cut, right?
Yep.
As a
Four bottom age player.
okay. So if you're assessing someone like that, the next year for a 1 spot. You're saying a 14 4s or 5s player, is that too far back to try?
Oh,
So
this is debate.
this is the debate, right? And
So
then
can
you
a
had
ones
someone
player
2
drop-
years ago who was a 14 1s player, should be a 16 1s player.
All right. So if you're in the
Don't-
ones in 14s, are you guaranteed ones in 16s?
Oh, I don't think so.
Is there a
No.
rule on
There
how
shouldn't be a
fake,
rule.
how you can fake and drop? Is there a rule in the book that says they can only drop 1 spot, 1 grade?
Oh, I don't think there's a hard cut rule, and it depends on
Well, it's pretty.
depends on it depends on how. Oh, each club's probably different the way they view it.
Well, you
Depends
also,
on what the coaches think, what in conjunction with the directors of coaching, the people that may know athletes. But the part that is always difficult to navigate is if they're doing stuff outside of the club with people that are in the club as well. Does that make sense?
conflict of interest.
That can always be a case as well.
Well,
Because I can hand on heart say every year I've rolled into a tryout period, I would have had advice from this person on where this person's been at. This person's been doing this during this period with me, blah, blah, blah. It's great that people are passionate about it. But for me, I want to see what I see when the time comes.
you want a non-biased view.
Yeah. I don't want to have a formulated opinion 3 days before I walk into a tryout session. I know it's a little bit different at the top level because top level, there's bodies of work there you could see with top level athletes, isn't there? It's different at that level. But at juniors, we talk about development and the rate in which young athletes develop. There's completely different rates. Height, wingspan, athletic ability, IQ.
What their role was a year ago to what it is today. I'm a 2-man this week. I'm a 5-man next year.
Well, I was a 4-man 2 years ago. Now I'm going to have to maybe look at playing in a 2-man spot.
But I've never drilled my life. So,
yeah.
I'm not going to get cut completely because I don't have the capabilities to be a 2-man.
Yeah, and it's hard. But I mean, this comes back to, and we debate this, rep basketball is a privilege. It used to be an invitational thing. Now it feels like, and it's sort of an entitlement or a right a little bit sometimes.
I saw a big kid.
Yep.
I won't say age group or your state.
Hmm.
Always in the state team. In under 18s top age, he was cut at the 100
Yep. Gee, that's
because he was a big man up until then. When everyone started getting bigger, more versatile, can out rebound him, out maneuver him, out play him. So the problem with him was he was a 5-man. But what do you think he was never taught throughout his career?
Yeah, dribble the ball.
So this means not only was he just cut, he was forgotten.
Yeah.
That's the thing I get lost with as well is every kid, that's why they should learn all aspects of the game because your body could change.
Well, other
role
people's
could
bodies
change.
change.
That's and then going back to the conflict of interest, I could train a kid and I coach a team, but I'm going to guarantee that kid is going to play for me.
Mm.
I have to be very clear. It's not my kids.
Yep.
I'm not your father now.
Yeah.
You have to make the team.
Yeah.
You have to earn what you do and how you do it. Because it's nothing conflict. That's another problem. It's not me saying that a lead coach, I don't think should coach a team. So you've got a male lead coach or a female lead coach, they shouldn't coach a team. I think if you're a director of coaching, you shouldn't coach a senior team or a junior team because your focus should be developing the program and not being sidetracked by your one team and maybe fitting where you can the rest of the program.
Yeah.
I think that, maybe if you're a director of coaching, should you be doing private individuals? It's nothing wrong with them given the training, but perspective you is, what if that kid gets an easier ride than others? That's how it looks.
Yeah.
You got to try and avoid those perceptions.
Yeah.
And we want to create a level playing field, which I think is never possible at this moment, but it can be possible if people change their ways.
Yeah, it's possible if you change your ways, the way you operate. The thing that I hear as a coach, and you've heard it many times too, is there's these separate conversations that happen with players around where they're at. Promises. I see you as this, and next thing you know, they're trying out for an age group, and then a coach is looking at it with a fresh set of eyes, has maybe a slightly different idea of philosophy on the way in which they want to coach their team or select their team, even, and that's conflict. It clashes straight away.
But you might have
how do you manage that? All of a sudden, there's a spot fire here that it has to be managed of some sort. You know what I mean? So it's
going to be a level playing field, and at the end of the day, I don't care what they're doing yesterday. All I care about is what they're going to do today.
Yeah.
Now, if what they did yesterday, they show up today, I've seen it, but I don't want to hear it. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If I was a coach.
Yep.
And there's nothing worse. I remember I've had coaches, people come tell me, "Oh, do you want me to help scout?" It's, no, I don't need your help scouting another team. I'm the coach. I'll do what we do.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what I shout? No, I don't need the help with that, but thanks anyway. But the thing about that is, I don't think you need to get advice given to you unless you ask for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think there's phone calls made. Hey, Aaron, I think you should look at this, and this. And we've probably all done it without intentionally.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't realize how much it happens. Like, you might get 20 phone calls last week.
Yeah.
You know, look at this kid, look at that kid, look at this kid, that. And you think, hang on a second, I haven't even seen the kids.
No.
And then you got 5 other kids you never heard of.
That rock up through the door
Hang on, that just changed the whole scope.
It's changed the whole scenario, you know. So,
are you going to go small? Are you going to go fast? Are you going to do a role-playing team format where you got two 5-man, whatever you
you may not have a 5-man and you have to,
I just pick the best team, mate. I'm just hoping I got a bigger there.
Absolutely.
You know, the best players will make it. And there's nothing worse than, I was going to take you, but, you know, we've got the same. We'll be good enough to make the team.
Yeah, and this is the other thing as well. So it's great to have players grow up through your club. And what if there's some players that come from another area, another team, another club, and they're in the mix?
You don't know who's going to walk in your door.
You don't.
You don't know who's going to walk in.
You can't be. You got to be so open-minded, I think, and not biased a little bit. Yeah. Again, so this has probably been a long conversation, may have been here, there, and everywhere. But those are the thoughts that have been going through my mind going into tryouts this past week or so. That are probably heightened for me just before Sunday.
So the simplest for you, Azza, right?
Yeah.
It'd be pretty simple if a coach had the opportunities to go into tryouts, not have any outside noise, go in and maintain their focus on what they need to focus on. They're being sidetracked, distracted, or loss of focus because everyone's trying to tell them what they should do, what they shouldn't do. How good it be if parents just let their kids go?
Yeah.
Other coaches let themselves do their own job. And if you need help and advice, you'll go to the people on the court with the coach you're working with. And I'm presuming at Melbourne, there'll be a director. Oh, there is a director. It's Nick, right? You can go to Nick and say, hey, Nick, I need your help.
That's right.
Because Nick will do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the idea would be, well, look, you know, okay, now I'm a bit stuck on this player and that player. I'll bring someone else in to help me decide on that.
That's right.
Otherwise, I'm coaching the team for the year. Who should control the team for the year?
Yeah.
Does it always happen?
Oh, well, ideally it should. We could debate that for hours. We've seen the examples where that doesn't happen.
That's why I think I'm not missing coaching. It's all this processes.
I think it's simpler at an older age level.
Oh, well,
I think at this junior level, it becomes very messy, very convoluted, very quickly because there's so many conversations that get had, which you are not a part of. So many different things that hang off of different conversations that, I think across our junior sport right now, and it was my fear coming back to it.
So what was coming out of COVID-19, what were you expecting?
Yeah. Okay. So
that's
a fair question. So my thought, probably optimistic, was that we could, as coaches, walk in there, fresh set of eyes, slates are pretty much clean because we've had this long period of separation from the game, and assess what we see.
And you think people probably realise what we've lost and just enjoy getting back and not be so into it?
Yeah.
What happened? Has it been bang, 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 bang?
Oh, it has. I think it has. I think on and speaking with coaches across different clubs it has happened like that. And I was taken aback by it and shocked. Very shocked. But I'm optimistic that way. I think a bit naive. I don't know.
but optimism is great because we think we can make change, but then unfortunately sometimes what you try and change, the environment doesn't let you change.
Doesn't let you. Yeah.
Do you feel that does it sometimes take away your enjoyment and passion of why you do what you do?
Oh, it can grate on you at times because you feel like there's just too much noise that I think as coaches, and me in particular, you feel like you want to really control your environment and your team and how that's growing and organically growing and how you formulate it and the framework you want to operate in. But when there's so much outside noise that's coming in, it does have an impact on some level.
I hate,
and we know that. We talk about the outside impacts all the time.
So I hate when people say
hate's a strong word.
Well, no, well, sorry. What annoys me, what agitates me, is when we say it's always going to be that way.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like we accept that's just the nature of the beast. Well, no, we can change that.
Yeah, we can.
We can re-navigate the way we think what we do. But I just get guys now. I've had issues with people in the past. Don't get me wrong. If they've treated my kid justly, that's outside the norm of any normal process and procedures of what they do. I think a lot of those little instances happen.
Yep.
I can easily walk into a stadium, go sit in the grandstand, and just watch my kids play. What people don't realize is I sometimes try and sit by myself. People don't allow me. They come and sit with me while I talk. I'm like, trying to watch my kid.
Please let me watch my kid. Yeah.
And I don't really get much downtime. And then I also get people saying, "How do you sit here and just be quiet?"
So watch my kid.
I don't understand how that's abnormal.
That's
the best thing in my life is to sit there. I used to coach when I was at Coach Geelong.
Yeah.
I remember racing down Sandringham. I think I broke every road. Sorry, police, but every road rule. Got there at the end of the first quarter and got to watch my daughter's last 3 quarters. I just wanted to watch her play.
Yeah.
And then I sat by myself.
Yeah.
And I was happy.
Yeah.
But I don't worry about coaching. Tell me what. I remember one time, if I told you this, one of my daughters was shooting a foul shot in a youth league game, and she missed. She turned around and looked at me in the crowd. I yelled back, "I ain't shooting the thing." But most parents would have said, "Do X, Y, Z." I said, "Sweater, I'm not shooting it.
Yeah,
you're on your own now. I'm just a parent."
Yeah, that's right.
So she looked at me, turned around, but what did she do straight away? She refocused and did exactly what I would have told her anyway. But I let her clearly know. I'm just a parent watching.
You got to let the athletes find their way, don't you?
So how would you?
I do that with Patrick. So with his sport, when I drive him over sport, I elect to sit away, and I just want to watch.
Enjoy.
I put the phone away. Like people, I put the phone down. I do not want to touch my phone. I don't want to be distracted. I just want to be there in that moment and take joy in watching my child do his or her thing.
And you know what? And why are parents so consumed by yelling out messages?
That's
that
the
may or
worst
may not
thing.
be the. So I remember coaching the girls. Don't want to say which team, but the father kept yelling out, "Get out to the ball." This team couldn't shoot, so we just want to contain the lane. So we'll sort of sagging off the players.
Yeah.
Every time his daughter ran out to try and deny this non-shooter, she dribble attacked her, hit the baseline, collapsed our defense, weak side entry, easy score.
Yeah.
Every goddamn time, call timeout, same thing. Because what they don't realize is the message could be opposite, or the timing of your message is a delay. So when they say shoot, by the time they hear the word shoot, defense is closed one step.
Yeah.
The shot's no longer there.
Yeah.
So why do we have to tell people to shoot when to drive? Why don't they let coaches coach, players play, and parents enjoy the most enjoyable thing, watching your kids participate in a sport they love
and have them find their own way. Yeah.
I can't fathom that.
No, I can't. Maybe it's because we're as coaches, we're really conscious of that. We've seen it. So we just have that understanding of it, perhaps. But yeah, I can't remember.
I was having a beer with someone a little while ago. He remembers the first time I met him, and we've been good friends for years now. I was sitting on a seat with him, and there was a game behind us. There's a guy sitting behind me, and all he did, I don't know this guy. I don't know the club. He just kept bagging his daughter. I had to turn around and say, "Mate, why don't you just go outside and let your daughter play? Because what you're doing to her right now is going to kill her." He couldn't understand. I probably didn't say it that way. I probably said it in a different way.
Yeah.
As if, you need to just back off. She's your kid, mate.
Yeah.
Why do we put so much pressure on our own children during the game, which we think they love?
Oh, I don't know. I think that's I can't answer that question.
But
what is it because you're living your own dreams, shortcomings? I don't know. I don't know.
It's seriously
it's a big question. It's a big question. It's probably a very complicated question. We probably need a sports psychologist in here or psychologist of some sort to come in here and dissect that one for us.
Well, I'd love the one
we can only speculate.
Well, I'd love the one day that we make a rule, just one game. You can't say a word. Watch your kid, and that's what you can watch. And just see whether you actually enjoy the moment. You might surprise yourself because there's no way parents enjoy what they're doing. The kids don't enjoy what their parents are doing, therefore the kids don't enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
Then the coach is struggling with the fact that, am I engaging the kid? Is there two different coaches on the same court? Who am I trying to, how do I control this? Because some people say, just take the kid off. It's not the kid's fault.
No, that's right.
That they're trying not to listen to their parent. Other coaches will come and watch a game. Then they'll tell you what you should be doing, what play you should be setting, and they'll be, telling things to your kid. And you're thinking, go coach your game. Just take
a breath. Just chill. No. Just let it go. Let it run. Yeah, it's one. It's the most frustrating thing across junior sport at the moment.
Is it okay? Is it okay?
No, I don't think it's okay. I know I have this debate with you always. I think it's gotten worse. But you'll say to me, it's been there always.
That's all. Yeah,
We just never realised when we
I
were
think-
playing.
No, I think I'll be honest with you.
I think there's a heightened level of expectation, though.
Yeah, I think what happens is when you're a single person, you see things what you see. When you start having a kid, you start seeing a little bit differently. So how old's Paddy? 8,
9.
9. So when Paddy starts playing a little bit more high level sport, then you'll start seeing, because your kid's been impacted by it, and you're seeing other kids and his friends and the parents, you actually see it bigger and far greater.
Yeah.
So when you get older, and I've been through it with 4 kids, I'm not saying Mike, but watching around, you start to see what you had already seen, but you didn't know what it all meant.
Yep.
So the landscape never changed, but the capacity of the meaning of that landscape made more sense. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, I think.
So
it
it was
makes
always there. When I look back and say it's the same picture, but I didn't know what was going on when I was younger. And when I started having more kids, I realized it's no different to what it was. Because I'm involved now. I hear it. I see it. I have discussions with it. Transition sports. I see it every day. We deal with 300 kids a week with schools. And here, when I see the impact it has on the parents, mind you, they're wrong as well. When the kids walk in, what they've gone through, and they're wrong as well, and they're always in the right, you see it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's always been there.
Right.
The more people you deal with, it feels like it's become bigger. No, you're always hearing about it more. Because your community of people gets bigger as you get older. Because you got kids from school friends, you got sports, football friends, you got basketball friends, you got your community gets bigger, and the conversation gets more meaningful.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I suppose so.
You haven't
I
seen
don't
it
know.
yet. Wait, you I was sitting back on my grandpa chair going, you know what? Smoking my peace pipe.
you 20
Mate,
years ago.
In my day, I told you.
Back in my day. I think the other thing is, and I just want to touch on this, and it got me thinking because Andrew Bogut announced his retirement this week from the sport. And the story of Andrew Bogut was he never really played in any high-end teams until very late down the track for him. And you look at the Australian basketball talent landscape over the years. Bogut, freak of nature, really.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons, freak of nature.
Mm-hmm.
Had a dad that played.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Exum,
Mm-hmm.
freak of nature, had a dad that played.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Ingles
Can play.
can play.
Done very well for himself.
Done very well for himself. And
What's his pedigree?
Well, you tell me. What's his pedigree?
I don't know. What's his parents? I don't know.
I don't know. My thinking is,
I think he's done a lot on his own. I think.
yeah,
No
Look,
pedigree. It's just who's this kid?
he
He's
may have
just-
had parents that were athletically. Okay.
and I don't get to take this the wrong way,
So,
but sometimes a parent's pedigree helps you get more advanced training earlier.
yeah, you're
I'm saying-
exposed to things earlier,
Yeah,
right?
sorry,
And
yeah.
you tend to probably pick up things earlier. So that's, you
train
get
by
a bit of a leg up there.
That's
I
fine.
guess.
Which is okay.
So-
It's okay.
My question is, are we in the basketball community, just more broadly, expect that kids are just going to go to those levels?
Because-
they're just going to be at that level because, I mean, it's become more, we've got more awareness across the basketball community right now that we've had some athletes actually make it at high ends. So therefore we think the kids, the athletes are just going to go to those high ends too. I think it's rare.
No, yeah.
I think it's rare because the names we just reeled off, they've had a different
path.
path laid before them, or they've forged their path, of course, and I'm sure that they've put in a lot of work, but they're exposed to it at such a different level.
Andrew Gaze, what did he have access to that no one else had access to?
Well, Drewy had Albert Park just sitting on
Who
his
did he
back
have?
doorstep,
Who
didn't
was
he?
his
And he had
mentor?
his father and
Ken Watson.
Ken Watson, exactly.
So he was trained.
So-
Now, was I right to say that he wasn't the greatest player in under 16s, but he excelled into under 18s because of all the development they put into him? He become that because he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
If a kid does extra training, great, but some parents can afford to pay for extra training with a more advanced scenario or advanced environment or with better connections. I might have an opportunity to do something, but I just don't have the connection. Well, you got in because you knew someone, so you got that role. Whatever
Right.
that happens in jobs.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
How many people get jobs because they know someone?
Yeah.
It's not really based on what they're capable of. I'm not saying their talent's there.
Yeah.
But what I think it's doing, the message is wrong. It's saying is that, like you said, it looks like it's easier to make it to the highest level.
Yeah.
Because more people are making it.
Yeah.
But the population of those people making it is still very, very minute few.
Yes.
And how many kids we think have gone to college that would make it have come back and they're no longer playing.
Yeah, that's right. which is more than
I would
more than, unfortunately. And college is great, and that's where we want our athletes to excel and open up those opportunities for themselves. And I think it's a great experience. But yeah, post college, come back.
Yeah, and we
or
think that
going to wherever.
But we think that's going to be the most. These kids are going to go to another level. But something happens.
Yeah.
There's a body change, there's a mental change, there's an environment change, there's a life change experience, whatever it is.
Yeah.
To get to the best level, even if you've got sport, things change within your life, your journey.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is an obstacle that sometimes you might be able to overcome or get through or deal with it like someone else would.
Exactly.
It's journey of life, mate.
Yeah.
So it's not just if you're good at basketball, it's are you able to cope with the challenges in life while you're trying to focus on the sport you love. And I think we forget that.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
One debate. Do you think, and I've got nothing against the coach because I don't really know, but he's got a great reputation. Do you think the Australian coach should coach in an NBL team?
Oh, Brian Good. So,
no, even Lamanis when he coached.
Okay. All right.
No,
so we're talking generically here.
I'm not talking. Yes, that's
about the role.
It's not about the coach. It's about the generic role.
Ooh.
It's like Brett Brown. He was already committed to something, right? Being the Australian highest level of all levels, right?
Yep.
That should be a full-time role. They can travel the world, manage their players, engage their players, maintain game. No conflict of interest. So I'm coaching at Brisbane or Wollongong, or Illawarra, sorry, that you might want to come sign with me now. Because a lot of players went to Brisbane, didn't they?
They did.
Or people were trying to.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the conflict of interest where shouldn't that coach oversee the whole lot of basketball worldwide where all their players are situated?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, I don't know. It's probably a little bit more complicated than that. In this very scenario right now, I think in fairness to Brian, he just came back to Australia after being in China for
So it's nothing against Brian.
No, this is not against Brian. I love Gorge. He's one of my idols.
It's just a generic thing that I get blown away by. For the whole season, they're coaching a game.
Yeah.
They're worried about what they should and shouldn't do with the next week's game. But
yeah.
So where's the focus on what the other play? You can't be doing everything.
Yeah.
Plus family time.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's tough. Yeah. Short answer, yes, but I think it's more complicated than that. In this very scenario right now, I think Brett Brown stepping away probably was not really thought of, given COVID, the pushing of the Olympics. They wanted – I honestly think Basketball Australia, and I don't know anybody who made any decisions, but if I'm looking at it, they wanted someone experienced, being at that level, someone they probably can know and trust, can probably get the best out of what the group might actually look like at that point, because I don't think there's going to be any NBA players associated with that Boomer squad at Tokyo because of the conflict of season or whatnot, and contract obligations and all that sort of thing. They probably wanted someone who they think they know they can trust to get the most out of a group that's not going to be full of NBA stars.
Yeah, but I agree with that. But they also looked at Will Weaver. Brett Brown was NBA at the time. So he was still going to coach NBA. Lamanis was still coaching. So the roles of the coaches have always been committed somewhere else. So it's not just because of Brian Gorge. I understand they had to find someone now, but every time they've appointed a coach, those coaches are committed to coaching somewhere, which distracts the purpose of what their role is, to develop the Australian program as an Australian program.
I wonder what other countries do.
Well, America have NBA coaches.
Yeah.
But it's not treated serious, don't get me wrong. They put it out on the floor. And
they've got the absolute best of the best athletes running around in the world.
I don't know, but
I'd love to know what the European teams do.
I'd like to know that those Australian coaches are going around coaching other coaches and implementing the platforms like an AOS concept, that they are the head honcho of basketball in Australia.
Yeah.
Their role is we are the pinnacle. I'm the guy that looks down as the peak of the triangle.
Yeah.
And I oversee where it's all coming from. Because I might say at 14, that kid, we need to eye that kid out. I need to go sit that kid's the future. So I know for the next 5 years, we can see who's coming through the ranks.
Yeah. Surely there is that level of.
I know, but they're in their state programs and they all like, but that changes. But what else if that was your permanent role and you ensured it was being put in place? Because within the state programs, there are a lot of changes.
Yeah.
A lot of people come and go.
Yeah.
Which means who's actually holding that solid role to ensure that foundation's being built.
Yeah, it's a fair call. I think in Victoria, we're probably lucky because we've got the largest participation across the country and we've got a depth of talent.
Yeah, it'll be
interesting what other states do.
They're not always the same coaches.
No, that's what I mean. So we have the luxury here we just happen to have a really strong
Pool.
talent.
Spot on.
So I'd love to understand what Queensland, New South Wales, WA, what do those states have to do? It'd be interesting because Queensland, for example, North and South, they've made that distinction, haven't they? Because it's such a big.
Well, it's like us,
gap.
a big country and big metro.
Yeah,
We're the same.
we're not that big though.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
We're not as big a state as that
Look how
state.
small we are.
Yeah.
Like, but we still divide our state.
Yeah, I think that's participation numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, we're just a strong enough.
Yeah, we are
So,
strong.
that mix. We've got the football, we've got the netball.
We've got everything, don't we? We've got the tennis. We get every sport here.
I love it. Well, so
I don't know. Good question. I don't know the answer. I can only give the short answer, but the long answers probably would.
I think I'd like to see people. I know it's hard, mate. I'd like to see, like I said, coaches. If a director of coaching is going to be director of coaching, that's their role.
Yeah.
If a lead coach is going to be lead coach, that's their role. You can't be stepping your toe in other areas because then you can't fulfill your role.
Yeah.
And I think there's clubs in locally that's what happens.
Yeah.
And therefore we don't get the true development platform put out in place.
Yep.
It's not a solid foundation moving forward. It's a bit of this, bit of that, and hopefully we'll get through that.
Yeah. I agree.
2 years later, they move on somewhere else.
I agree. Yeah. And it's good to have the athletes. So just back to this tryout thing, it's great to have the athletes back. For the coaches, it's great to be back too. We're probably a little bit rusty.
But
I'm not going to say we're perfect.
But we haven't spoken about
We've
the
got to get
coaches.
back in the groove of things.
But we haven't spoken about coaches. We haven't spoken about always about the players.
Yeah.
So were you mentally prepared?
Was I mentally prepared? I said to you, I felt anxious going into it. I feel anxious going into every junior tryout because one of the hardest things to do as a coach for these junior kids is to say, no, I'm not going to pick you.
Yeah.
That's super tough. You can't.
Just tell Marco, he'll do it.
Marco.
Love you, Marco.
No, we love you, mate. We'll work it out together, mate. Don't worry about that.
So Marco, that's your for you. That's all the kid. He's cut.
But look, it's tough. It's tough. I hate having to say no to young people. And I know I've had no said to me before and it absolutely devastated me. And I can think back to those times myself. So I can relate. It's the hardest thing to do.
With your tryouts, question. If you're finding it hard to find your team, whether it be the 1 to 3 or 4 to 5 or 6, 7, 8 or 9 or 10 player, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you knew you had a solid 4 in the first 15, 20, if you knew you had a solid group, would you be ballsy enough
Where are you going
to
with this?
say, sit, you are done, you are picked because while you're on that court, I cannot find the rest of the play because you guys have just got too much control.
Ballsy, that is ballsy to do. I don't know if
Is it right or wrong?
I don't think it's wrong,
If you know that,
but I don't know if it's 100% right because it doesn't look
All right,
great from
so-
the outside looking in.
No,
If you're the parents of some of the kids, you just
Don't worry about
what is
parents.
going on here?
yeah, but you know what? Because at the end of the day, you don't have to. If you know,
I think you,
if you know, okay, if you're in session 1, 2, or 3, it doesn't matter. If there's a point in time that you know that kid's going to make the team,
yeah.
do you think you need to keep training that player while you're trying to find others?
Look, I do think you probably need, but the luxury we have as coaches is we can structure it as into who's where on the floor and get some combinations going that'll try and take that away.
Or just sit them and find the other combination.
You can just sit.
No, I always look because I saw a try once where I won't say what 3 girls just dominated, and they struggled to find the rest. It's pretty simple. If you had to set those 3 down, you probably would have found the rest a bit more easier.
Yeah.
But those 3 just dominated, and they didn't even control the training, as in the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like they enjoyed. Oh, this looks strong. It's great tries, but because you got the same players doing the same
things.
So it
Yeah,
looks
you got to
strong.
be conscious of that as
Yeah.
a coach. Yeah.
And I don't care if a parent thinks, well, how come my number 1 daughter is sitting on the bench? I wouldn't care because I don't need to tell her your daughter's made it.
Yeah, you can have those conversations as long as you. There's
But
a
we're
level of-
wrong. Is in the first 15 minutes you've made the team?
First 15
Or-
minutes.
or-
I think you
wait.
just got through the warm up drills.
I'll be honest with you,
Jeez.
how many times have you thought in the first 5 seconds you want to tell a kid to go somewhere else? And
Oh, look, you can tell.
I know
That's heartbreaking.
I was talking rep.
We
because
use heartbreaking
rep
too.
means you're trying to get to the next level, yeah?
That's what it is. I feel like that's been lost a little bit along the way. The domestic is there for pure participation, enjoyment, and rep is too. Rep is there for the enjoyment. We want our athletes to enjoy the game, but it is designed. It was originally put there to try and identify which potential athletes can represent our state and then our country. That's what it was originally there for.
All right. So there's another question. What if you know, and that's nothing against a kid who's not good enough. It's rep.
No.
They can still play domestic.
Yeah.
They're still going to play the sport they love.
Yeah.
So if you know in the first 5 minutes that this kid is just coming back to basketball, do you let him do the 3 tryouts? Or do you say, mate, I'm just going to suggest to you now that I'm going to have to make a difficult decision? Or do you let him go through the 3 training process? I'm talking about, because I see a lot of kids on the courts that probably, you know what, enough's enough. Because it's not fair to them.
Yeah,
it's not fair to the parents who are listening and hearing. And do we just say at rep level that if we need to make a decision, are we allowed to make it then and there?
Yes, we are. And I've done it.
Okay, good. I've always been curious in that one.
I don't know if it's done enough, but look, I've done it. It's not a great feeling though. But,
No.
but at the end of the day, there's a two-side argument. You're doing them a disservice by
everyone. You're doing it right to everyone.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm not saying that you should celebrate cutting someone.
No.
But I also think for the betterment of what you're trying to do, the best scenario is just to be honest up front with either scenario.
Yeah.
Mate, you're going to make it. I just don't need you to show it. Look, mate, you're still domestic. Go back another year. Try again next year. And here's some people you can go and see to try and get better.
And here's some things that you need to improve.
Because at the moment, you're guaranteed a jersey right now sometimes.
In a lot of situations, they are. And this is... And the argument always is where people will fit at the end of the day. But
so I'm not promoting cutting people. I'm just saying,
no, we're not. It's the hardest thing to do. As
I'd rather be honest with the kid up front than let them stretch it out, and then the training gets harder, gets more complex because by the time you get the 3rd training session, you're not running basic drills.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to execute game plans.
Yeah,
how these guys respond.
Yeah,
how they react.
Yeah, because as me as a coach, so we roll into our second session. And 3rd session this coming weekend, we'll start to put in concepts around what we think the style of play would be, different ends of the floor, offense, defense, and what's going to suit, what's not going to suit, who can do it, and unfortunately who can't. Okay, at this stage.
So that leaves another question then. No, this is where
we're opening cans of worms here.
No, because a lot of people don't probably talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just want to raise the question. At tryouts, are you there to teach the player?
I try not to because I want to see where they're at. Okay. Now, if there's something I see which I go, this is a little bit of advice here which will help them in this scenario, I will give that.
I probably more mean in the skill itself. So if a kid is actually just struggling, do we stop and say, mate, you got to bounce this way, you got to bounce that way, or is it tryouts? Tryouts normally are.
Tryouts.
Either you can or you can't.
Well,
and then we evaluate what we can do with you, and what we can't do with you.
Yeah. Look, I said at the start of this, a tryout should be treated as a tryout,
as a level of that elite level above what you've been playing.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know, because I just want to think, well, if I could run a program, how would I look at it? And, listen to what you say, and I'll talk about others. I don't know the answer, but I don't think we talk about those scenarios.
Yeah.
We all are scared to political. No, we've got to continue all through. You can't cut them early. You can't cut them in week 1. We don't want parents back. Well, you should get backlash if the kid's not good enough.
No.
And it comes down to, I know I'm trying to say,
what's being said.
I just think that it's not domestic. Domestic's different.
Yeah.
Engage. Every kid should get a game. Every kid should make a team. Rep's different. It's like state programs. I like what they're doing with the state program, but I don't want to see 4 teams at SCC.
No, that's fair call. I think that's part of their decision-making process or whatever.
Yeah, but did you make a state team or you didn't? I want to know if you made state team, you made state team. If you made Australian team, you made Australian team. Just like I don't think you should be able to buy an Australian singlet in a Kmart supermarket, Kmart shop.
Oh, what about the young kid that wants to put Joe Ingles' number on his back?
It should be like a style, but the actual jersey can't be the same. It's got to be slightly different.
Oh, it's like saying you can't buy the NBL jersey. Come on.
Well,
what's the matter with you? You're crushing young kids' dreams here, mate. I used to get the jersey and wander around out the back and pretend I was Andrew Gaze at the time, whatever it is.
Problem.
I mean,
you're not Andrew Gaze. You're not playing for Australia. So go up.
Hey, you were critiquing my shot before too, weren't you?
Hey, all I was doing there, I was trying to counter ones of that one. I was just testing the boundaries. No. I have a jersey up there. I was
going to say I was going to bring it up.
So I bought it up to shelf. That was given to me from Rachel Jerry.
Now, I don't know where we're at time-wise, but I'm going to suggest...
We're at 50.
Okay. So I'm going to suggest, because we're going to be another week into the tryout phase, I want to talk about cut. We touched on today, but that cutting scenario.
Now or next week?
Next week.
Done.
All right. So we want to talk about that because cutting decision-making scenario, we could probably talk about that a little bit more. And let's see if we can maybe even get someone to lend their perspective.
Should be done via verbal or a letter.
Well, we can talk about that next week.
Just something to think about.
Yep.
Because if you've seen We Are Marshall,
Oh,
he goes.
oh,
We
love
made a
that
scenario
movie.
about, but have you written a letter? You know, they don't respond by a letter. If you go and see him personally, they might get a difference. We went to the NCAA. Remember that that little quote in that?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
You don't ask her. You don't ask her by a letter or whatever the scenario was. Go and see him face to face and let them feel the heartache that you're going through when you're breaking the news that, hey, unfortunately, but something about it.
Now, before we sign off,
What?
Orange.
Here we go. All right. So Kim Weimer loves to just to stresses out a little bit. So this is the thing, guys. You can, and I think Nathan Lutz will be the first one to jump on it.
Oh, the big dog will be all over this.
Are oranges named orange because they're orange, or is orange called orange because oranges are orange?
So
why is an
the
apple
fruit,
not called
the
green?
fruit orange is called an orange.
Why?
That's the object that is the
What?
fruit. It was given that name.
Before it was orange?
No, let me explain.
It was always orange knucklehead.
Let
You
me
didn't hear that, did you?
Let me explain. So an orange,
Is
the
orange?
fruit,
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
the fruit, orange.
Yeah.
The orange, the fruit.
He's getting angry
right?
now. If he does this, like, he's thinking, he does this, he just wants to cross me.
He's going to grab you
Yeah.
and strangle you. The fruit orange is called an orange. Now, because it is orange color, we get the color orange.
Hang on, I'm going to ask a
from
question.
the fruit.
Was the color orange?
It's like isn't it like the chicken before the egg scenario? I
so
don't
was
know.
the color orange created before the actual orange was found?
No,
So,
it was created after the actual orange was found.
so how do we know it was orange if there's no such thing as color? called
We're
orange?
calling it orange.
Why?
I don't know. We're calling it orange because
Do you
it's
think
such a
it's- hey,
distinct color.
Go back in the day if that you saw that orange for the first time.
Yeah, we're going.
Who that
What's
person
what's
is.
this juicy?
What makes you say-
wonderful sour tasting thing?
I want an orange.
Sweet tasting.
I want an orange. Where'd that
Yeah.
word come from?
We called it an orange. I don't know. I don't know. But the color orange probably came from the orange itself.
So you said probably, so then I saw, sure. I'm
Yeah.
confused, mate. You give me a
All right,
dead
all right,
certain
funny man.
response.
How about you have a certain response now?
I don't know.
You
Mate,
don't even know. Do
I didn't
you?
know. Was the color orange around before the actual orange was found? That's why I
No.
didn't know. So we decided the word orange come after the orange.
Yes, that's what I'm arguing.
Hang on, is it fact or you're arguing? Is
I'm
it-
arguing. I don't even know.
So
if it's
is,
fact.
hang on, is this an
Google
illusion
it.
or is this fact? Which one is it?
Google never lie.
All right, so we need a response, guys. Was the color orange formulated before we actually found the actual thing called orange?
Mm.
Or was the orange found, which then created the color orange?
Surely it's that way.
It does make you not sleep well at night when you think those things.
Oh, gee whiz, we're going to lose sleep over the next week. About
How are the
this.
pyramids built? Like I've just,
Oh, they were built by the aliens, mate.
we can't build things like that today, mate.
No,
And guess what?
That's right.
They don't get called out to water leaks. You know that. So they built something so many years ago.
Does it leak in the middle?
We built a $54 million saying where it be, and it leaks all the time. We should have got the aliens to put
It's not built like it.
to build a stadium pyramid. Anyway, all right, guys, we're out. We
Yep.
had a bit of fun. Have no idea what we discussed.
No.
I need to go back and watch this because I got no idea what we're talking about. I'm not well. I'm going home to bed, so I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Love
me
you.
too.
Good to see you, Az.
Look after yourselves,
Oh,
everyone, and
all
each other.
Take care. Good luck, everyone at basketball. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope there's no stress and pressure. And ensure stay safe, stay well. But also, if you're feeling down and out, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Yep.
All right, guys. Much love.
See you
We are out.
guys.
See ya.